Nigel Farage wants you to think it's all golden retrievers and sunrise and fishing trips. The only thing actually being released in this party political broadcast is a bunch of career politicians who have clearly run out of options. It's not, as we know, a political movement. It's a witness protection program for the people who spent the last decade breaking the very things they claim now to cherish. You were promised a fresh start, but you're being served a reheating of the 2022 Conservative frontbench with a side of coastal salt air. And this isn't a party political broadcast. It's a National Trust advert that's been bitten by a political party. Because when normal parties want your vote, they'll tell you what they're going to do. Reform have gone for, well, something else. Sea, dogs, war relics, and a man whispering good boy like he's training the electorate. So as we go through this video, we're going to count the policies. We'll have time, it's only a couple of minutes long. And he spends half of that time trying to sell you the coastline. I'm not even joking. It opens with this.
Sit. Good boy. Pebble, sit. See, they do what they're told. Do you want a treat? Yeah, no, I've run out. I haven't got any more.
Right, lovely. A political movement that begins with a command, a treat, and an audience that sits quietly. And then he says he runs out of treats, which honestly might be the most honest line in the whole thing. I mean, it's a bit on the nose, isn't it, really? The leader of a populist movement bragging to his followers, sorry, his dogs, don't ask questions and just wait for the next treat. And this is pretty much this tone for the whole broadcast. It's a masterclass in distraction. You've got multi-millionaire in a tweed jacket talking about the common man, while his dogs do what they're told.
I've fished with all my family over the years, and certainly my two sons have really taken to it in a very, very big way. Yeah, the trouble is it all gets a bit competitive. Who's catching the most, who's catching the biggest fish. You think you're out having fun, but somehow, blokes together fishing, it does get a bit competitive. The biggest fish I've caught in the UK is bluefin tuna, all catch and release, but, you know, big fish weighing several £100s. But I've fished in Africa, I've fished all over the world. But this is home, and here we are. It's January, the sun's coming up. It's gorgeous.
So, while he's out there catching and releasing bluefin tuna, his party is busy catching and keeping every Tory reject that Kemi Badenoch finally had the sense to bin. This month alone, we've seen Suella Braverman and Robert Jenrick complete their self-purge from the Conservatives and land right in the middle of reform. Oh, and still no policies. But we carry on.
Right, come on then, doggies, let's get moving, shall we? Let's go somewhere different. There we are, all along this coast. These relics from the 1940s are all still here. These were all anti-aircraft and anti-invasion positions right along the coast. Still in amazing condition. I collect all sorts of militaria, but I can't collect this. I can't move this, but I've collected loads of stuff. I'm fascinated by not just the military aspects of the wars, but the civilian engagement, what everybody did, women going to work, all of those sort of things. There's plenty of rich history on this coast.
Then we get to the coastline bunkers, the relics, the 1940s, the military collecting. And look, history is all good and, you know, it's quite interesting. I quite like the history around the coastline and stuff. But then he pivots right to...
You know, when you talk about the economic problems, the law and order problems, but there's a more fundamental problem. We've actually stopped loving the country we're part of. And I still think we've got amazing influence around the world. There's so much we can do.
So there it is. No mention of housing, no mentions of wages, no mentions of bills, no mention of AHS, no numbers, no fixes. You've got to love Britain enough. You've got to feel, you've got to believe enough. And then reform can reintroduce love somehow through fishing, I guess. Which actually makes it pretty funny because fishing was the perfect prop for them. It's got salt, hardship, heritage, proper real Britain energy. When they wheel it out whenever they need a symbol. But when it actually mattered, when Brexit was being sold, fishermen were basically used as the poster boys. Take back control of our waters. You know, the big speeches, the big promises, all the emotion. And then when the deal landed, they were suddenly told to shut up and get on with it. Anyway, still no policies, but we carry on. Next up is this classic line.
We've got a very rich history, and we're not cherishing it. We've lost that basic sense of patriotic pride. And that's about putting our own people first. Doesn't mean we don't like anybody else. We believe in the nation. We believe in its history. We believe in its heritage. We're determined to pass it on. And that, I think, has been lost in a very, very big way. And yet I sense, particularly with the younger generation, they're hungry. They want that identity. They want that sense of belonging. They want something to be proud of.
This is the political version of I'm not racist, but. It's deliberately vague. It's just a mood, a slogan you can pour into an argument, like depending on who you're trying to annoy that week. And yet again, still no policies. And then he finishes with a pure Hallmark card energy.
And when I formed this party, I said it was about family, community and country. And maybe we should talk a bit more about the country bit, because it really does matter. It does to me. But however bad it looks, things will turn around. They always have in the past. The good days will return.
Right, so based on what? What changes? What laws? What budgets? What gets built? What gets funded? What gets cut? Nothing. Just reassurance. It's the old trust me guys, through the entire video, there's not one single policy. It's a party political broadcast that's terrified of politics. Because policy has trade-offs, I suppose. It gets fact-checked. It creates losers and winners. So instead, they're just telling you this story. A story where the country's problems are not caused by decisions or systems or economics. They're caused by your failure to believe. You don't love Britain enough because you don't believe in Britain enough. And the funniest part is that they don't even try to hide the contempt. It opens with good boy because that's how they see you. Not a voter to convince, but someone to train.
Sit. Good boy. Pebble, sit. So they do what they're told.
So yeah, enjoy the sea, enjoy the bunker, enjoy the patriotic montage. Just remember the actual message. Sit down, be quiet and do what you're told.